we better move on to our next speaker.
Well,
We won't get in too much
ready.
trouble today.
I am ready to move on. I'm excited to introduce Celeste Lindman. She is with one of our sponsors, Diversified Traders Institute, DTI. Celeste has been a portfolio manager and investor since 1992, a swing trader and day trader since 2008. CPA, financial auditor, tax accountant, stockbroker, a serial entrepreneur for sure, and a homeschool mom of now 4 adult boys.
Oh, wow.
Do they ever become adults? I do. By the 2-counter husband. There
I
you
like
go.
that. I like
there
that.
you go. Or
Yeah,
Raleigh.
he was the most difficult student of all, let me tell you.
Slow learner.
Wow.
Yeah. But Celeste is going to go over her favorite trade setup. She's got clear signals that show which direction to trade, identify weekly setups with strong profit potential, a strategy for trading any time frame and market conditions. So Celeste, I am so happy that you joined us today. You're all queued up, mic'd up, got the screen share ready to go.
All right. Well, I will kind of work on getting this navigated here for the screen share. And while I'm doing that, want to thank you, Pat and Nikki and Raleigh for organizing all of this. You can probably see the Zoom screen right now. I'm going to get this going up here. And it is such a privilege to be here with all of you and share these things. And, you know, listening to all these great women presenting what they know about the market is really exciting. So I've learned a lot and have been kind of participating in with that with them. So thank you to Jody, thank you to Michelle, everybody. It's been really, really, really good. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about my favorite trade setup of all time. I'm going to show you exactly the steps that I go through. And, you know, Raleigh, if you see any questions pop up that I don't answer, feel free to jump in. I will not be offended if you interrupt me at all. And otherwise, I will try to navigate, but it's kind of a lot going on. And just so you know, my presentation, it takes about 40 minutes. So, hey, I can either just like talk all the way through it and you guys can have an extra long potty break, or if you want to kind of interact with some questions there, Raleigh, or I'll try to catch them as we go through.
Let's do this, Celeste,
So,
whatever you're most comfortable with, but I'll keep an eye on the chat panel. If there's something that comes up, I'll interrupt you. You may want to pause and say, hey, Raleigh, are there any questions? We can freeform it, but the most important thing is you've got some great information to share, and that's where we'd like your focus.
All right, great. Well, again, it's great sharing these stories and listening to how everybody else has had success in the markets. But I know that for all of you who are spending your time here today, you know, this is really about your story and your success rate. And so hopefully these tidbits of information have helped you to do that. And hopefully what I'm going to share with you today is going to help as well. And let me grab one more little thing here. I like this little flashlight, if I can, spotlight, if I can find it there. There we go. All right. So my favorite trade is a swing trade where basically I'm buying here at wholesale and selling up at retail, right? We all like to buy at a good price. And that's what I'm trying to do with my favorite trade setup. And the good news is that it sets up every week. And I'm going to move these cameras over here. It sets up in any market condition. It sets up in any week. And it's a great little trade setup that I'm going to show you. So it tells me exactly where I'm going to enter. It tells me exactly which direction to move in, whether it's up or down. And again, every week, so that I have these great opportunities. Because just like the rest of you, I'm busy, have a lot of things going on. I like to have an active trade setup that I can be making money every week without being glued to the computer. So we're talking about explosive profit potential in stocks like Emerson, a trade that I made earning 46% on the stock plus dividends in 3 months. Of course, I'm going to be talking about the underlying, and that's going to be the stock. But all of these trades and these setups can be positioned for the options traders as well. So also Halliburton, 58% plus dividends in the stock in 1 month. And how about Target? 27% dividend plus dividend on the stock in 1 month. And the really awesome thing is that we just let the market do the work. So trades like those on Target, Halliburton, and Emerson, I want you to make sure you stick around to the end here because I've got 3 new stock picks for you poised to profit. So get those at the end of the presentation. And of course, I must tell you about risk because there's always risk in trading, and you very much want to understand whatever instrument you are trading before you click any mouse so that you have money to come back and play this difficult, challenging game of trading. And with that, I want you to know that everything I've learned in the markets really was taught to me by this guy, Tom Busby. He was a former Air Force officer. He's an active trader since the 1970s. He's a member of the CME. He's a best-selling author of all these books. And basically, I've been personally trained by Tom. And what makes me successful, I've learned from Tom, and I'm going to share that with you today. So let's get going. Because, my journey has not always been as easy as it may look at pulling those profits out of the market. Because back in 2008, 2009, I lost a significant amount of money. It's the kind that changes lifestyles. And it was very difficult to kind of pull myself up by the bootstraps and get trading again. But once I found this method that I'm sharing with you today, I was able to find stocks and trade them like this one. This is ticker symbol LRN. It comes from a company. The company name is K12. And I was able to, in our live trade room, and just a second, I'm going to try to see if I can find this chat here, just in case I can see any questions, because I don't have that up right now. So I see a question box, but I don't, there, let's see, hang on. It's there. Well, Raleigh, if you just see something, just maybe there it is.
Sure. If you're looking for the chat panel, if you click on more, you'll see the 3 dots that say more. You'll see chat. You can pull that up,
There
or
it
I can
is.
just feed that to you.
Great. Okay, great. All right. So let me move this around here a little bit. Thank you for your patience. Technology is great. And okay, so and you know what I can do too, because I do like to stand while I present. So why don't I not distract you and turn that video off here? There we go. And that way I can see your questions a little bit better too. So, but I was in the trade room, the DTI trade room, able to show people there this stock saying, hey, you might want to take a look at this. And you could watch it trading there. We talked about it. And the reason that this is important, that I want you to understand this, that we alerted traders here, is because of something that I'm going to share with you later. And this stock symbol, this company, K12, is actually the company that I used to, yes, homeschool my 4 boys that are now adults. And yes, homeschooling my husband sometimes along the way as well. But you can see, yes, just as what they mentioned about me, I have this background in finance and accounting, and but it wasn't really those types of things that helped me to become successful in the market. It was really this method and this favorite swing trade that I'm about to share with you. And so what do people have to say about this type of trading and this type of education that I'm sharing with you today is, that it really shows the way in the markets. It's like a flashlight. And we like to teach this and share it and give that to you. And that's what we're trying here to do today. So, and I keep losing my little chat here. There it is, pops up again. And so basically what we're looking for in step 1 of 3 steps is market direction. And when you look at it this way here, when you want the daily markets to be moving up on a daily chart you can look at, or a weekly chart moving up, a monthly chart moving up. And basically we're talking about these open. So how is the market trading based on open? And that's for any instrument, whether it is the a stock or a futures market, whatever it is that we are trading, we're looking at these from opens. And we want these to be in the same direction as the S&P. So when we get both our equity instrument and the S&P moving in the same direction, then that's when we have a higher probability, and when they're moving in the same direction on that daily, weekly, and monthly. And Raleigh, I am sorry, but I keep losing my chat. I see the questions one, but I keep losing my chat. I think it's behind one of my screens. So, feel free to interrupt.
Let's go, let's go ahead and do that, because I don't want you to be distracted from your presentation. And so you can focus on that, and I'll watch the questions.
Great, perfect. All right. So contrast this picture to this next picture, and that is when you have market directions from open that are moving differently, basically the odds of your success go down. So it's a real easy tip and trick to keep you on the right side of the market. And if you like looking at charts, or if you want a visual appearance, here it is. This is a daily chart moving up. This is on Microsoft. This is a weekly chart. You can see it's moving up, and also on the month. And you can notice too that I'm just kind of focusing on the most recent kind of time period here of that overall direction moving up. And here's an example of McDonald's. Okay, so currently at the time that I took this picture, a price of $2.22. And you can see here from some of this data collected on this chart, like the week open, day open, month open, year open. I've kind of populated those down right here. You can see that McDonald's is above all of those opens. And so that puts the probabilities on my side that this is a good, solid horse to trade. And that is step one. That's the market direction, getting that for the underlying instrument that you're trading, and also for the S&P. Very, very key to successful trading. And now the next thing I want to talk about is step two, seasonal analysis. Now, this is something I had not heard a lot of until I came to DTI and didn't really understand how it all works. But with the seasonal analysis that I've learned, there are tendencies in stocks and in commodities and in sectors. So for example, Hershey, wouldn't you imagine that there's a higher demand for chocolate, during Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day, or being shut in with COVID, lots of people wanting chocolate. And so there's a seasonal tendency to those stocks. And basically what they give us are these reoccurring tendencies, these reoccurring patterns that we can kind of follow. And this came actually from Echo Day Clocks here. And you can see that kind of broke down some of the sectors, and just giving you an idea of when that seasonal analysis gives a higher probability for trades in those types of sectors. So that's really helpful information. Here's another thing that I learned that's been really helpful for me, and that is, and this comes from Fidelity, but even economic cycles, have different sectors that are stronger during different times of the cycle, the economic cycle. And haven't we whipped through a lot of that in this past year? But when we're in early stages of the market, the mid, the later recessionary time, and you can go here to Fidelity's website and search on sectors, just loads of great information to help you in your trading, help you to select some strong horses when we're following along with the S&P, using that market direction to guide us, and then getting into some strong sectors, strong stocks, using that seasonal analysis. And here's another one, seasonal charts, because hey, guess what? We've always have elections going on, and we have election cycles. And so here's this election cycle, election year that we're in now. And it's not important, how far down these dip or how far up they go. What's really important is the actual timing of the swings. And so like even here in this election phase, and this goes back, I think this picture probably goes back 50 years. If it just that kind of swing, even when we had with COVID and the unfortunate things that had happened in the first quarter, that swing is kind of still the same into the summer. And here we are right now. And this is interesting too. pullback right before the election time. And it's just a seasonal kind of indicator, gives you something to watch, and you can use it for various time frames of the election cycle. Now, here's another one. This is a data miner stock looking at the seasonality of Microsoft, okay? And so you can use this same kind of analysis, again, for the stocks, sectors, elections, business cycles, everything. And so what I want you to take notice of here is in Microsoft, this chart's giving an indication that Microsoft has a seasonal tendency to pull back in August before it starts pulling up again. This is a 7-year average. This is a 20-year average. Same thing before it starts moving back up again. And again, it's not important to look at the magnitude of the swing. What's important is to get the general idea of the timing of the swing. So here, kind of this mid-August is when Microsoft would tend to pull up, okay? And so to show you how that works, here it is. This is Microsoft this year. It's exactly how it played out, okay? Pulls back here into the middle of August and makes its way back up. And again, it's not the magnitude of the swing on the seasonality, it's the timing of the swing. And so that we were had knowledge of that might potentially happen. It seasonally happens in Microsoft, and we can use that knowledge to help us place better trades and get in and out of the market more profitably. So that's step 2 of my favorite trade setup. So we're looking at step 1, the market direction, step 2, seasonal analysis, and then step 3, the most important of all, is the trade management. And so we're going to talk about the entry of the trade management. We're going to talk about actually managing the trade and then exiting the trade. And how am I doing, Raleigh? Do I have any questions that have popped up so far?
Yeah, question is, so there are a couple that have come in here, but the key one here is, where can we get this seasonal information?
Okay, great. Good question. So, before I move on, a couple of great sites here. Again, so the seasonal charts, you can get seasonal information here. Just go Google that, seasonal charts. And you can Google Fidelity and look under the sectors. They have a lot of great information there. You can look on seasonality there. And also this equityclock.com. I'm going to show you another way how I get seasonal information too. That's really cool, but I'll show you that here in just a second. So that's that. How about any other questions?
No, that's the key ones at this point in time. So here's one that just popped in. What is that line called? I'm not quite sure which line that is.
Yeah, so maybe I'll catch back up into it. But we've got quite a few more slides and information to share with you. So maybe if that comes up again, you can let us know. So
okay,
nothing too significant right now. What I want you to understand is, number 1, the market direction. Are we up from the opens? Are we up from the week open, the day open, the month open? Those types of trades to give us general direction of the market. And then number 2, seasonality. And I showed you a couple of ways that you can go and do some research and add seasonality to your trading style. And then now trade management. We're going to break it down into these 3 parts. We've got the entry, we've got actually managing the trade while we're in it, and then the exit. And so this is going to be really, I think, eye-opening. What I'm going to show you next really changed a lot of things for me. And you might think, oh, wow, well, gee, really? Oh, wow, this makes all the difference in the world, and that is the entry, okay? You've seen a lot of things over the years and in your training, I'm sure, of how to enter a stock. Well, to me, the best way to enter a stock, once I have found one, like once I found an Emerson that I want to trade, or Halliburton or Target, one of those stocks that I want to trade, the very next thing I'm going to do the next day, because I'm generally searching for these in the afternoon or the evening or over the weekend, I'm going to place this trade the next day between the half hour actually of 9:30 in the morning Eastern time to 10 a.m. Eastern time, okay? You can modify that for your own time zone, but basically what you're looking for is you want that half hour, and that's what this represents, this move up to be moving up if you're going to go long in a stock like Emerson. You want that time frame in the morning to be moving up. And so I'm going to show you some examples of why this is so important. Okay.
So, Celeste, I think if you can go back to that previous slide, that was the line that people were talking about, because you notice that this is a price line, but it's changing colors. And,
oh, yes.
And I guess, what do those changing colors tell you? Perhaps you covered that.
Yes, no, I did not cover it. And this particular chart of this particular example is basically, this blue is representing a very key time in our method on the 24-hour clock, similar to like this 9:30 to 10:30 time. So what we found are key times during the 24-hour market that you want to look at that are actually pivotal times. So more than just the day, going down to that 24-hour market. So this is a 30-minute chart showing the up and down movement of, red when it's going down, green when it's going up. And it is a little bit odd that this shows red, and I'm not quite sure why that is. That should be green because we're coming up here and making this little pullback. Actually, I think what this is the blue bar here moving up, which you can't quite see that is. But what I do want you to take notice of here, this is a little bit better picture of it. And this is that 9:30 to 10:30 time frame in the morning, right when the cash market opens. And this is of that is of the S&P futures. And you can see that I'm just telling you that's that time frame. And then once that moves up, regardless of what was going here, because I've already decided that, I'm going to go long this stock or this futures market. Once I see it trading up above that key time frame, you can see what took place. Now, why it's important to always look at this, you can't, why this time frame is so important is demonstrated in this example, and that's with CarMax. Okay. So with CarMax, I had decided the night before I was going to trade this stock if it was moving up. And this is that 9:30 to 10 a.m. time frame. Doesn't exactly look like it, but that is it. The stocks stop trading here in the evening and then pick back up again here in the morning, and boom, well, it went way up. And so you think, oh, great, I'm going to be able to get into the stock. It's going to be great. But you want to wait until after that time frame before you enter that stock. You want it moving up after that 9:30 to 10 o'clock time frame. You want that to wash out, because look what happened next to CarMax. Okay, here's CarMax, and I did not get into that trade. It came down during the morning hour session. This is a 12:30 time frame, lunch hour, 1:30 time frame. Eastern time, traded up a little bit, but never during that whole day did CarMax ever make it back up to its targeted area. And I was, it was a bummer, because it's another thing. I was like looking for the stock to go to 100, to go to 110, and boom, this trade didn't work out. But it saved my capital by just using this one entry approach alone. Because here's the key to looking at the S&P and wanting to match it up with what's going on in the S&P. So here it is, the S&P, and this is a futures market. So all this information here was happening overnight, and then boom, cash market opens. And, you compare this candlestick, this blue candlestick here, to CarMax back here. I mean, CarMax is really ready to go. But guess what? Something came out about news, or for whatever reason, people decided to sell off this market, this S&P. It saved me. Look how farther down the S&P went down throughout the 24-hour time frame. And then compare that to, just to prove how you're picking these strong horses when you pick these stocks. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But how much stronger CarMax was, here's how it traded throughout the day, compared to the S&P that really came down and made these lower lows. Okay.
So to that point, Celeste, because another question came in that's germane to that. So at the open of the market, is the S&P that you're looking at initially to see the direction that the market's going in? Is that your primary focus market?
Yes, that is my primary focus. Large market is the S&P. And I love looking at the S&P futures because you can see what's going on pretty much 24/7. And so I'm gauging that market direction based on the S&P, and then I'm looking for the strongest horses to go up or the weakest horses to go down if that's the direction.
Okay.
Thank you, Raleigh, too, for interjecting those
No,
questions.
and if this is the way you'd like to work, it's a good way. I'll just wait for you to have a pause a little bit, and then I'll apply something because there was a lot of questions around that. But I think it's pretty straightforward, folks. That's the market she looks at. That's her benchmark market, and then she goes from there.
Great. Okay, great. Okay. All right. So that was part one of the trade management, and that is the entering on that time frame after that 9:30 to 10 a.m. Eastern time, looking at the direction, wanting that direction to be moving up if you're going in a long upward trend, so you wait until after that time frame. That's part one of the trade management. Now, part two is actually managing the trade. And basically, we're going to focus on average true range. And we're going to use average true range. And there are a lot of indicators out there on your platform that measure true range. It's a great way to look at the market. But we're going to use that to kind of anticipate this price movement. We're going to use that to anticipate what I call our hard right edge. What direction is that underlying going to continue to move over the next days, weeks, months? And you can see here, Investopedia, another great site to get great information, defines the average true range as a technical indicator. It's generally going back 14 days on a moving average. It was originally developed for commodities, but hey, it's really great for securities as well. That's what I've found as well. So, and I trade these with, just incidentally, this is stocks, options, futures, and commodities. When I trade currencies, it's generally with the ETFs or the actual kind of dollar currency itself on the futures market. That type of trade is what I'm using this platform for. So that's on Investopedia. You can get that information. But average true range, I want you to look at this picture. Okay, so to kind of clarify a little bit more of what we're looking at. So on average, a stock, if you're going to look at the past 14 days, is going to, and this is a daily chart, you think it's going to move up and down in a certain way within a certain kind of channel, okay, based on moving averages. And so if I'm looking at this stock, which is McDonald's, I can see that here, MCD, which is McDonald's, I can anticipate that, hey, maybe it's going to move up in this zone here, but it's going to take it, how many days and weeks would it take it to get up into this zone here? And that's going to be my target, my profit target for this trade based on average true ranges. Now, I am showing the this average true range here. This is that McDonald's would move on average about 15 points within the week in this case here. So I can use that information actually daily to gauge my movement while I'm inside the trade in addition to my targets. Okay. So that's a way to look at the range of where your profit target is going to be, because that's why we're in here, to make money, setting our profit target. So to kind of backtrack again, so like say that I've decided I'm going to go in McDonald's. I see on my trade management from 9:30 to 10, it's moving up along with the overall S&P is moving up. I enter into the trade. I've already decided where my profit target is going to be before I've entered the trade. I've also decided where my stop loss is going to be too. Okay, so this is all in trade management, my entry, my profit target, and now my protective loss. I'm also going to base this on this kind of average true range. I have a couple of areas where I can kind of go back and look. You can call them support and resistance. This one here is, based on an average true range here, again, on this daily of 15. So I can, if I have entered into McDonald's, I can set my protective stop loss right under this area here, which is also a key level of a true range. I can set it down here in this kind of a support area as well. I have several options of where I can place my initial stop. Me personally, I'm probably going to place it right here or right here. That's my personally where I'm going to place that stop. Okay. So, and then another thing that you can do with your stops is to place these kind of progressive stops or trailing stops as you're in the trade. You can continue to move your stop up, which is what I would do definitely as I get into this trade and it's moving in my direction. I'm going to move my stop, my protective stop up. Okay. So that is basically those first two steps of managing the trade, entering the trade, and managing it while you're in it. And then really the next step, part 3 of trade management is just exiting the trade. And you've already done that work, so you just let the market work, because it's either going to hit your target, boom, great, you made money, or it's going to hit your protective stop, okay? And in just a minute, I'm going to show you a way how you can be 67% accurate without hardly doing any of the work. You know, let the market really do this work. And so when you add your own ability into the market and your knowledge, then you increase that 67% accuracy rate, okay? So getting up to about 80% accurate and beyond. So that's kind of the goal. So here again is this exiting the market at like McDonald's. I would say I would kind of do it right here is where my stop would be and my target would be up in this area. And this is exactly the process, this same 3-step process that I just shared with you. You know, how you understand market direction. Step 1, how you use seasonal analysis to find strong horses, and then how you manage the trade. Step 3, and this exact same process is how I found JD. Didn't have anybody tell me how to get into JD. I didn't have anybody find it for me, place it for me. I found it on my own. I placed my own trade. You can look at my brokerage statement right in this area, still holding it, 112% return on JT on the stock alone, in addition to the opportunities to trade options and so forth. The same thing with Zoom. Nobody told me. I found it on my own, and using this 3-step process that I just showed you, I'm going to go in a little bit more detail for you here in just a second, but able to find Zoom, still holding it, 204%. It's a great trade. It's a great trade. And so here's the question that most people ask, and that is, where do you find stocks to trade? So let me pause for a second there and find out, Raleigh, are there any other questions that I'm missing?
Yeah, there was a couple that came in, and I think that you addressed it, but one question was, do you or anybody else at DTI actively trade Forex pairs?
I personally do not trade Forex, but I know several people who do. Most of the traders at DTI trade currencies, but they don't trade currencies via Forex.
Right,
So,
they use the CMA or something like that. Okay, that's terrific. And then there's another question that came up, and I think that you're getting ready to address this, which is, how do you come up with a particular ticker? And I think
yes,
that leads right into where you are right here. So we're good.
Excellent. Great. Thanks again for that, Raleigh. Appreciate that a lot. So yeah, because hey, all of those facts and figures are great, but hey, how about your account, right? Well, here are some tips and some tricks that you can use to make these types of profits in your own account. You can find them all by yourself, just like I did. We're going to talk about that. So one area is, you can go to the Dow 30. What a great place. I mean, that's only 30 stocks. You can find their movement. You can find their seasonality. You can use those tactics with average true range to trade Dow stocks. NASDAQ 100, of course, that's a few more, that you'd have to look at. 100, S&P 500, that's more. And you can also use some scanners. So, you take a look at like some of the pros of looking at the top stocks. There's plenty of volume, which is key. Lots of options that you can trade with them, weekly, monthly. And but like we were saying, there's a lot of stocks to filter through. So one solution, of course, is to keep a short list. And you can do a short list in a variety of sectors. Like I just happen to have the Dow, showing here underneath the different sectors, like, financials, Goldman Sachs, or information technology, Apple, Cisco, IBM, energy. You get the idea. So you can know too pretty quickly which of these sectors are moving up and strong. So use the same analysis on those. Here's another one. This is on Fidelity. Again, you kind of get an idea of some of the places that I've liked hanging out. And that is, you can see on Fidelity what sectors are moving up and down very quickly. They break it down into 11 groups. They've got a great scanner on there, shows you what stocks are really making the big move in, for example, information technology. And so that you can get in on the Zooms, or you can get in on the JDs because you see them there as well. And then of course, there's lots of free scanners online. This one is from FinViz. You just put in the parameters that you like, and voila, you get a list of stocks that you could potentially trade. You just want to really keep your eye on the liquidity, the volume. You want to have an average of $500,000 average trading volume per day. Okay, so watch that on any scan that you do. Now, I told you I'm going to tell you about a scanner that I really like because it's a seasonal scanner. And I'm going to show it to you. And I used this scanner to generate 11% in 1 month on Synopsys. Okay. And I also use that scanner to find this one, TJ Maxx, a 2-week move in TJ Maxx, because take a look here at what it looked like before. Okay. This is really key. Okay. Here's TJ Maxx before I entered. All right. Kind of looks like it's on a downward trend. How on earth could I have known that it was going to make this type of a move? Okay. You see it coming down. You can use your chart patterns. You can say they are whatever they are, double M or a double top here, and boom. How do you have any kind of confidence that it would turn around? Well, you use the steps that I just shared with you, step 1, step 2, step 3. And I'm going to show you more about this seasonal scanner here, but using those same steps, that's how I got the, in 2 weeks, 12% growth, 2 months, 22% growth plus dividends, great, opportunities with that. All the while the S&P, and this is very key, I want to make sure you get this, all the while the S&P was looking like this, and you can call that whatever pattern you'd like to call it, the triangle. And in that same time that the S&P moved up 2% compared to TJ Maxx 12%. Okay, so let that sink in. Okay, so those types of steps, I'm going to show you a little bit more about the seasonal scanner here in just a second. Those steps, that's how I consistently pull profits out of the market, whether it's a, swing trade is my favorite, where I'm holding it, maybe a couple of days to 2 weeks to 2 months, to the longer term swing trades, to investments. I mean, I'll hold JD for as long as it's going to keep paying me, and I'll keep placing other types of seasonal trades on JD and Zoom and all the other great stocks out there, as long as it's paying me. So day trading, swing trading, and investing. And so how about that, Raleigh? Any other questions that have popped up?
No, not at this point in time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, great. Well, that is it. That's how I do it. To me, it's more than following a trend. Because a lot of times when it's like, a trend, I'm feeling like I have been left behind and I've left profits on the table. But with this method, I know how and when to get in with what other people are calling the trends. I am able to see that as well, but I'm able to see these kind of key times that give me success put that on my side for trading profitably. But the problem is, I learned it 20 years too late. I have been in the industry for 20 years before I really applied this knowledge. Isn't that crazy? And that too shows me that, hey, you know what? If I can do this, any of you all out there can do this, because that knowledge is out there when you get the right tools and the right education in your hands. So that's what I say. Hey, you are here. And so take advantage of it now. And don't fall prey to new ideas or these gimmicks, using a simple method that works. And that's what I've done. I just follow a simple method, just like Hugh, who is part of our DTI family. We love Hugh, his practice, this method. He believes that the method works. He follows the rules, and he turned his small account, 2,000 into 27,000 in just a few short months. I mean, this works. Okay. That is a multiple of 13.5. Okay. That's not 13.5%. That's 13.5 in a few short months. I couldn't figure out how many zeros to put in there for the percentage. Let that sink in. And I say, and I proudly say right here, past results are not indicative of future results. I'm not saying that to satisfy any legal requirements, though I'm sure people, the legal people are glad to hear us say that. But I'm here to say that every day is a new day, and you find new trades. And when you practice this 3-step process that I showed you, that's what did for me. That's what got me the confidence. That's what made my future results a lot way better than what they were in 2002-08, and able to pull those markets, pull those profits out of the market like I was sharing with you. Okay, here it is. Hugh has done it. Congratulations. And we have stories like this over and over in our DTI trade room and in our DTI family. And we just are a community of traders like no other. But we do have a secret.
And there's
here's the secret.
Yeah, and Celeste, several people have just chimed in asking about the seasonal scanner. Mm-hmm. Once again, where is that scanner? Which is the scanner that you use?
I am really glad that they asked that question, because I'm about to unveil it, because it is one teensy weensy element of this very powerful tool. It's called the Roadmap software. It's the DTI trading software that was created by Tom Busby and Jeff Smith, okay? And I say teensy weensy, but because all those steps that I just shared with you, they are all embedded in this software. So step 1, market direction. Here we go. I talked about the opens, everything, basically being higher, when you want to line these up. Instead of going and looking at a whole bunch of charts and filtering through a whole bunch of stuff, boom, we got it right here. We have the information. We see it visually, year open, week open. I'm going to show you an even easier way to see it using this software. You can see this 30-minute entry, boom, all the way up to this intraday day trading target. It made it up to its intraday target using the average true range appropriate for that time frame. And here we go, intraday swing, a day trade, a swing trade, a long-term trade. And again, lining those up. That software also has seasonal analysis. And this isn't even the scanner. This is not even the scanner. Wait till you see the scanner, and wait till you see how I miraculously seemingly pulled these profits out of the market. So this is called DTIC. It's a little tab on what we call the compass, okay, the chart, and that has all that information there. We click that little tab, boom, we get this, okay. This is a 12-month seasonal analysis of Home Depot. And you're like, boom, everybody likes doing their home improvements. Boom, they've got a pullback here in May. They got a pullback here in October. And guess what? I used that information to get in at a really good price. Here's October's pullback. Can I use that information just like I showed you on Microsoft? You remember how it pulled back in August? That was another component of the DTI software, the data miner showing that seasonal trend of a stock. That's not even a scanner yet, though. But using this information on that pullback, now here's see that? 100% win rate over the past 10 years between these dates, okay? And it says 8 times. The reason it says 8 is because guess what? Sometimes those dates fall on Saturday or Sunday, could fall on a holiday. That out of those 8 times, 100% accurate, okay, of making profits, holding it for over here 30 days, 20 days, 30 days. So using that information, being able to gauge what the overall market direction is, using this seasonal analysis here, that's a way to look at Home Depot, but there's more. Here on that same type of tab, that DTIC, and this is still not the scanner, you've got here, this is 20, I think this is 20 days. This is actually for 30 days, 100% for 30 days. This is the 20, no, this is the 10 days. Not as high a percentage on those dates. And remember that pullback? Remember we were getting that pullback in October. So that's really interesting to see, use that information. And then look over here. This is the 20 days. Look at all those 100% lining up on Home Depot in November. Look at these time frames here in October. Notice how you didn't start even getting at 85% in October for those 20 days of hold until later in the month. This is super valuable information. It makes all the difference in my trading, this seasonal analysis. Okay, here's this data miner. Again, this was where it showed that pullback in Microsoft. We saw that exactly happened. And then here again, with this roadmap software, okay, still getting to the good juice. With this roadmap software, we're getting this trade management, okay? This is the most important part of any trading, is managing your trade. Knowing to get in on the entry here at that 9:30 to 10 a.m. time frame, using these buy zones, these targets, all set up based on ATR. Based on the ATR, this is based on the ATR for an intraday. So you can see right when you enter Home Depot, hey, is it trading my direction? And did this actually happen? Yes, this absolutely happened right here on this date, right there during these time frames, right in that early morning. And you set up, you say, hey, in the evening, you say, hey, I think I want to go long on Home Depot in the morning, and it sets up, and you can manage that trade even in the intraday before the day closes. And then using that same targeting information, you can, this is on the intraday. I'm going to show it to you here on the swing and the other tabs. Managing your profit targets, you could definitely take some profit off here and let it run. And you're going to be able to move your stop up very shortly. So that's using the ATR on a day trade. There's the key elements here. You could do it on swing trade, investment trade, and on. And it's the same way that I did this. I used this for synopsis and those 3 steps, and same thing with XLU. Okay. And so one thing I want to point out, and I know y'all want to see the scanner here in just a second. I'm going to show it to you. Any other questions on what I just covered?
Yeah, so several people have written in throughout your presentation with regard to things like how long do you stay in a trade, and when do you know to get out, and things of that nature. And I think you're addressing that because of your profit target zones and your sell zones, et cetera. But could you address that quickly?
Yes, and you're exactly right. I have been addressing that, and that's true. And it's generally, I'm looking for to hold a position for a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a couple of months, as long as the market will let me stay in. But I'm totally managing it by those 3 steps. I'm looking at, number 1, the market direction, both for the underlying and for the S&P. And then number 2, I'm looking at that seasonal analysis. And then 3, I am totally managing this trade for as far as how long I'm going to stay in the trade. I'm totally using this roadmap software, a picture very much like this, okay? So how long I'm going to stay in, this box inside here is called the DTI compass, and it's what tells us here, how we're doing on, there's that entry, this is Tilray, the 9:30 to 10 a.m. entry, boom, yes, this really did happen, and here's the stock, all those tabs. But here's a key too. So as long as I'm going to stay in a trade, I'm going to hold Tilray as long as this ATR area on these tabs is telling me to stay in Tilray. Now, this particular view is called a dashboard, okay? DTI dashboard, and it has all of these stocks in here, okay? And you recognize these stocks, Schlumberger, Walmart, Caterpillar, great stocks. General Mills, Boeing, great stocks. At this time this picture was taken, the strongest horse. So if the S&P overall direction is moving up, my strongest horse on this particular look is Tilray. So I instantly, right when this morning bell rung and it's moving up, I instantly know which one of these stocks is stronger. Like say I thought I was going to get into General Mills. Well, I may still get into General Mills because this is telling me that this is strong because this is all green here. But oh boy, Tilray, was I thinking about Tilray? I might jump in Tilray because it showed me that it was moving up, fast as well. So this is sorted by the strong horses because, if the overall direction of the S&P is up, hey gang, let's go ride the strongest horse. Let's win this race. Let's put the probability on our side with stocks and options and dividends using that type of analysis. And
Okay. And you know, Celeste, it's interesting because once again, you had used the term that you manage this and you'll ride it as long as you're getting these indication. So it begs the question, how often do you actually check the charts? I mean, I know you're a busy woman, you have a family, you have so much that's going on. How do you monitor and manage that with all that going on?
right, yeah. So that's a great question because so right when you enter the trade, you already know where you're going to enter, you know where your profit target is, you place your stop. So really what I'm primarily looking at during the day is the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow. Kind of where are
Okay.
those overall broad markets trading? I'm not looking at the individual stocks. I'm letting those ride. I've got my profit targets in. I've placed that. I'm good to go. So that's how I'm managing it. And it gets you these types of results in options, just like here in Roku. And I'm going to kind of speed up a little bit because I just took a look at the time and I want to keep moving through here because I really want to show you, this is more of that dashboard and the different time frames. So I want to show you some other things here. Like for example, on this dashboard, this is called the MM, the mark to market. Okay. This is the profit. You know, it's kind of starting to tell you about how I was going to show you, you could be 67% accurate just following a couple of patterns. I'm still going to tell you about that. But just by following those patterns, this is the profit that you could make in any of these stocks. Red means that you went short silver, or you went short some of these. The green means that you went long. So it's all profit. All that is profit. And you earn that just by getting into that buy zone or sell zone based on that compass that I was showing you. And by the way, how's Hugh doing? Pretty doggone good. 1 day of profits in this small account, 3,600. Congratulations, Hugh. And then here is the DTIC scanner report that I was telling you about. It is the, you have this pull down here that this is what you use to see for TJ Maxx. And here's where you just look brilliant. Boom. TJ Maxx, here's the scanner, 100% on 8/7, 8/14, TJ Maxx. It's just, to me, it's that simple. And it's not only TJ Maxx, but look, there's Microsoft and there's Apple and there's Emerson. And here's good old Home Depot. And it's not only just Home Depot, but look at all these other stocks. Oops, look at all these other stocks that had that 100% there as well, right here. Sherwin-Williams, you name it. And there's that data miner is another favorite part of the roadmap software. The pivot trader, this is a real easy way where you don't have to look at charts. This is telling you exactly, that market direction, step one, are we up? The only one that was up on this particular day was IWM, small caps, okay? The rest of them were telling you to stay out of those particular markets with that view of the pivot trader. And then of course, pops and drops. This is a great tool for options. Tells you where the unusual activity is in options. There's way managed weekly options, a great tool there, and of course fundamentals. And you know what, whether I am trading long-term, short-term, medium-term, whatever, I am getting trades from this very powerful roadmap software. And I just wouldn't trade without it because people say to us all the time, if only I could see the market the way you do. Well, I'm telling you, it is, to me, it's every bit. It's the roadmap. It's easy to learn. It's perfect for beginners. It's perfect for any account size. And the roadmap automatically adapts to market conditions so that you can find opportunities regardless of what's happening in the markets. And here's the best part. This is what I want to share with you. DTI built a complete program around the roadmap so that the team can hold your hand and show you how to take advantage of it. And it's called the Roadmap Trader Package. And first, you get this complete roadmap software, not bits and pieces of it, but the entire software, roadmap software you get. And it allows you to see the markets exactly the way that we do. And it's for every kind of market, every type of trading. And with that, you get these trader courses. And this is fantastic. So in addition to the software, you get the roadmap trader course so that you can see the market, in my opinion, the right way. You can master this tool very quickly using this roadmap trader course, and you can begin mastering these setups, just like the one I showed you today, and more, because there's more that you can learn, other trade setups that you can learn using this software. You're going to learn those, and it applies to stocks, futures and options. It's good for day trading, swing trading, and investing. And here's this 67% accuracy model. Okay, this is where you can, just by applying these patterns, you're going to be able to, pull profits out of the market once you learn them. I practically make a living just using this module alone. They teach you all about it. And the ever important trade management part of the course, arguably the most important, so you can know exactly where to enter, where to exit. You get the Rapids Result Quick Start Guide, so you can get started right away. And this is a fabulous resource. Right online, you're going to get all of the tutorials, information about other items like tape reading, or more about the futures method, or understanding your 401k. You get the support team with Jonathan Rowe and all of these other great guys. They literally kind of come in to your computer, install the software, make it a great thing. It's the complete package, and it's truly worth a fortune to me. It comes with all of these items that you see right here that I just went through, and we got two options. Option one is $497. It's not these other prices. I can tell you this price here, that's what I paid back in 2008. I paid every bit of that price and a lot more. But now with technology and ways of getting it to you online, it's a lot faster. It's a better program. There's so much more to it. And you can go right here to this link here, and I'm sure they'll put that in as well, and you'll gain instant access to all of those items that I just told you about. Now, when you click that link, you're going to go to a landing page. It's going to look kind of like this. You just check this box here for that trader package $497. You can review all the things that are in there as well, or you can do option two, and this is what I wanted to tell you about because it has that trade room. This is where and that's $997, and if you choose that, I'm going to tell you about it. You'll go to the landing page, you'll scroll down and get the 2-year option. But this is where you get that trade room. And remember that trade about K12 that I told you about? That's in that trade room here with all of these moderators here. We go through various ideas. We give option trade ideas. Here's some examples of those. And it's all, within just a real quick time, 24/7 practically are these opportunities available from Sunday to Friday, market close. And you can see some of the things that some of the people say, and I am running quickly out of time. Tom's made this statement. I want to get you back to these bonus sessions here that you get in the trade room and our commitment to you, okay? And because what I want to tell you is that we have a no-nonsense guarantee that if you find any method that's more effective for finding consistently profitable opportunities than the Roadmap Trader Package, then we will give you your money back. And you just hands down, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. We want to be there with you. You never know what's going to happen. And, your money is your most important asset. You do not want to blow it. So I want to invite you all to get started with us, and I would love to start trading these markets with you. And that's it.
All right. Well, Celeste, thank you so much. I tell you what, that ended up being a fast hour, don't you think?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, before I let you go, there was one question that several people asked that I'd like you to address quickly. And that was, with this package, does this include data fees, and what brokerages do you work with?
Excellent question. Yes, there are a variety of data feeds that feed our Roadmap Free, that TD Ameritrade, Schwab, Trade Direct Pro, a variety of free ones. And there's also ones that you could pay for too. Call the number and get the best one that's suited for you. Most of you probably already have a brokerage account that will feed it.
Okay, that's great. Well, once again, thank you so much for your time today and for giving us that tremendous presentation. Once again, a lot of ground was covered. We had a lot of great questions. And Celeste, once again, thank you personally. We know you're busy. You have a lot going on. And once again, to have you part of this Women in Wealth program is just a treat for us. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a great day. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Celeste.
Okay, folks. So once again, the DTI Roadmap Trader software, Celeste, with Celeste Lindman, you can go to dtitrader.com/Westmark to check that out. It's a fabulous package, and follow up with them on any questions that you have. And we are running right on time. And it's the top of the hour, and I know that's something. It means something.
It does.
I think it means quiz time.
Very fun. For those of you who maybe are just joining us, we are going to do a quiz at the top of the hour, every hour. And the first person to answer correctly will win a $100 Amazon gift card. So with that, get ready and go. Who was the first female president of the New York Stock Exchange?
That's not one I knew off the top of my head. I can tell you that.
Neither did I looked through these a little bit earlier and I'm like, I really need to brush up on my
history. I think we have a winner.
already. Oh, that was fast.
So they didn't have to Google it. Somebody actually knew.
Let's see. Marcia, not sure.
That's great.
Yep. And the answer is Stacy Cunningham, 2018.
In 2018. So that's a very recent occurrence. Well, that's fantastic. And once again, that's keeping with our theme, isn't it? Successful, powerful women in the market.